Good morning, children. Welcome to the science class. In the last class, we started the lesson, children, lesson number 8, structure and function of living organisms, animals. So, we have finished lesson number 7. So, now we are moving on to lesson number 8, that is, we are going to learn about the animals. So, in this class, we started about the first topic, that is, okay, the digestive system. So we shall just recall it and we'll move on further. So now we studied that is our body, that is human body is made up of millions of cells. So what is a cell, children? Cell, it is the basic and structural unit of living organisms. Yes. So now group of, and it is the smallest unit of living organisms which gives the structure and structure to the human body and performs various functions in our body. So these group of cells, they make a tissue. They make a tissue, children. Okay, from a single cell, the group of cells, the make a tissue. That is, when these tissues in the womb or as a child is born from a single cell, in the mother's womb we can observe that the cells are grouped to make a tissue, to make a tissue. Now these tissue, that is group of tissues, they, what they do, they group together to perform one function. This is called as organs. So we can observe the different organs. As the baby is developed, we can observe the different organs are formed in the human baby. Okay. So what is an organ? Organ is nothing but a group of tissues which perform a single function. Okay. For example, eye. Eye is one organ, nose is one organ. These eyes help us to see, nose help us to smell. Okay, now the different organs, these different organs, they group together. The different organs, they group together to perform one function, and that is called as organ system. So what is organ system? Organ system is nothing but the group of organs, they group together to perform one function. It is called organ system. So you have learnt already in the last class the different organ systems are present in our body, and so in this chapter we are going to study the different organs present in human body. So the first organ system that you are going to study in this class is digestive system. So why the digestive system is present in our body? So you have to know why the digestive system is present in our body. As we know that to perform different functions in our day-to-day life, we need energy. So how we are getting this energy? By taking the food. We are taking the food, children. And we know that in the food we have different nutrients present in our food. Carbohydrates are present, proteins are present, vitamins are present, minerals are present. Okay. So now these carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, these are present in the food items that we are taking in our daily life. And these carbohydrate, when we take in our body, these are not easily absorbed by our cell. So the cell, it cannot absorb the carbohydrate, it cannot absorb the protein, it cannot absorb. Okay, why? Because these carbohydrates, proteins, they are in the complex form. They are in the complex. What is this complex form? Means they are nothing but the particles of food, are larger particles of food. So these larger particles of food should be broken down, to form a simpler molecules of food. So simpler form of food, and which is easily soluble, So the food that we are going to take in our daily diet, it should be broken down into simpler form. When it is broken down into simpler form, children, okay, so this is easily absorbed by our cell, and as it is easily absorbed, we'll get the energy. So what is the function of digestive system? The function of digestive system, why the digestive system is present in our body? This digestive system helps to break down the complex form of food into simpler form. So which are the organs? We know that it is one of the organ system. So the different organs present in this digestive system, they are grouped in such a way that to perform one and only one function, that is breaking down of food particles. Okay, so this process of breaking down the food particles into simpler form, this process is called as digestion. What is this process called? Digestion. Okay, so the process of converting the complex food into simpler form is known as digestion. So after learning what is the meaning of digestion, now we'll move on to the organs. Which are the organs involved in the digestion? So the first organ involved in the digestion is mouth. The next is the food pipe. Yes, the food pipe is also called as esophagus. Okay, and the next organ is the stomach. After the stomach, we have the small intestine. This you have already learnt in the 4th standard. Small intestine. The next organ is large intestine. Next we have rectum and anus. Yes. So these are the organs involved in our digestive system. So when we draw the digestive system in man, we can observe here we have the mouth, the food pipe, the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. These are the 2 associated glands present in the digestive system. These are not the organs, children. So then the question is asked to you, mention the organs present in the digestive system. So you have to write it in a serial manner. Mouth, food pipe, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. Okay, so you can't include there the liver and pancreas. These are not the organs, but these are the glands. Okay, these are the glands present in the digestive system. So when we move on to the digestive system in detail, children, one by one, the first organ, as you know that already you have studied in the last class, the mouth. So the mouth, it includes what is mouth? It is also called as oral cavity. It is also called as oral cavity or buccal cavity. So in the buccal cavity, you can observe that there are the different parts present in the mouth, children. We have the first the teeth, the tongue and the salivary glands. Yes. So as the food is kept, the food, it may contain carbohydrate, it may contain protein, it may contain vitamin, mineral. Okay, as the food is kept in the mouth, the digestion of the food takes place. First it starts with the first organ, that is the mouth. As the food is kept in the mouth, what happens? We, with the help of the teeth, with the help of the tongue, with the salivary glands, 50% of the food is digested in the mouth. So your elders, your parents, what they insist you, when we are child, what we are going to do, children? We just keep the food and we just swallow it. So don't swallow the food, because if you swallow the food, what happens? The food is not digested. Yes, the food is not digested. Okay, as the food is not digested, you are not getting the sufficient amount of energy. The food remains as, okay. So here what happens? In the mouth, 50% of digestion takes place. As the food is kept in the mouth, you have to chew it. You have to chew it and you have to make it into a fine paste. So these organs help the food to make it into a fine paste. Okay, So now we are we'll in a brief we'll move on to the teeth, children. Teeth, already as you know that we have two sets of teeth. Two sets of teeth, that is milk teeth and permanent teeth. Milk teeth and permanent teeth. And we know that there are four types of teeth. Yes, the incisors, which help to cut and bite the food. Next we have the canines. Canines help to tear the food. Next we have the premolars and molars. This help the food in in grinding the food and to make a fine paste. Now here in this picture you can observe the structure of the tooth. Okay, here you have learnt in the last class the structure of the tooth. You can observe the teeth are the arch structures. The two parts, that is the white part which is visible, it is the crown, and the next part, it is the root canal which is inside the gums. Okay, and it is attached in a socket in the jawbone. So the outer white part of the tooth, it is made up of enamel. It is made up of enamel, the hardest substance. Which is the hardest substance in the body? The enamel. Okay, enamel is the hardest substance present in the body. Okay. Now here you can observe these helps to cut, bite and tear the food and grind it into small pieces. Here you can observe the canines, the incisors, the premolars and molars. Cut the food, tear the food, grind the food into fine paste. Okay, these are the four types of teeth, children. And here the last pair of teeth, this is the wisdom teeth. Yes, this grows when the person is nearly 20 years old. Okay, so till here you have learnt in the last class. So now we'll move on to the next topic, today's topic, that is the tongue. Yes, so now today we'll move on to the today's topic, that is the tongue, children. Yes, now what is the tongue? How can we define the tongue? Tongue, it is a muscular organ. Muscular organ means it is not made up of the muscles. It is made up of muscles, but it doesn't made up of the bones. So it is a muscular organ present inside the mouth. Now what is the function of the tongue? As you know that you have drawn the tongue, the different tongue helps to taste the food. Tongue helps to taste the food. So what are the different types of taste that we can identify? We can observe the sweet, salt, sour and bitter. And tongue, it helps in swallowing the food. After chewing the food, okay, the tongue helps in swallowing the food. Swallowing the food means it helps the food to push backwards. It helps the food to push backwards towards the opening of the food pipe. Okay, children. And the next function is it helps in mixing the food. It helps in mixing the food with the saliva. With the saliva produced by salivary glands. We know that salivary glands are present in the cheek region, and these salivary glands, they produce the saliva. They produce the juice which is present in the mouth. It is called as saliva. So it helps the mixing the food with the saliva. Okay, the tongue helps in mixing the food with the saliva, and it also helps in our speech. Now I am able to speak, okay, with the help of the tongue. If I hold my tongue, I cannot utter a single word also. Okay, with the help of the tongue, I am able to speak. It not only helps to taste the food, it also helps in speaking and also singing. Okay, children. And here we know that on the tongue region, I think you have observed on the tiny bump like structures are present, and at the back side little larger bump like structure, muscular structures are present. These are nothing but the taste buds. What are these, children? These are the taste buds. As you keep the food on the tongue, okay, these taste buds, they send the message. They are sending the message to the brain. So this you are going to learn in the nervous system. So this in a fraction of second, okay, the command message is given to you, is by the brain. A brain sends a command message to you that whether the food that you have kept on in the mouth, on the tongue, whether it is sweet or sour or bitter or salty, okay, yes, or it is spicy. So in a fraction of second, the brain is going to give you the command message. So these taste buds helps in sending the message, giving signals to the brain, and which in turn tells us the taste of the food, children. Okay. So now after learning about the tongue, these are the functions of the tongue. Now we'll move on to the salivary glands. The salivary glands which are present in the mouth. Now these salivary glands, we can observe there are three pairs. How many are present? Three pairs of salivary glands are present, children. These salivary glands, three pairs means six. Six glands are present in our mouth. And this salivary glands, they produce a watery fluid. They produce a watery fluid called saliva. They produce a watery fluid called saliva. Okay. So now this saliva, it is a juicy like structure, and this helps in what it does. As you keep the dry chapati in your mouth, okay, the dry chapati, as you are going to chew it, the saliva is produced in the mouth and it mixes with the chapati and it makes the food, the food into, okay, it helps to moisten. Moisten means the water is as the water is added to it, it becomes soft, and yes, and so that it is easily absorbed, it is easily swallowed in the mouth. And here what happens, this saliva, it is a digestive juice, children. Yes, why this is present in the mouth? Because it is a digestive juice. So this digestive juice, that is the saliva, it helps in breaking down the complex food, that is the larger particles of food, into a fine taste. Now you keep the chapati in your mouth and slowly you go on chewing, you just as you go on chewing, you'll observe, you'll find the taste of the sweetness of the chapati. That means when you identify that sweetness, that means what has happened, the food is already digested. The food is digested there. That sweetness which you are going to observe in your mouth, that is the food is digested. 50% of the food is digested. That is the sweetness. The glucose is formed already. Okay. So that sweetness can be observed by us. You go on slowly, you try it in your home. Okay, slightly. When you take the chapati in your mouth, you chew it. As you chew it, you just feel the sweetness of the chapati. That means the food is digested in the mouth with the help of the saliva. Okay, children. This saliva, about 1 liter of saliva is produced. 1 liter of saliva is produced in a day, and these salivary glands get stimulated. Now as we keep the food in the mouth, the saliva is produced in the mouth, and this saliva helps in the digestion. But if you have not kept the food in the mouth also, what happens, when you just see the food, when you feel the food, that okay, when you are fond of that food, any food, if you are fond of that food, And what happens, as you are fond of, when you are thinking of the food, as you get the smell of the food also, what happens, the salivary glands will be stimulated. They just okay, and by sight, by smell, or by remembering your delicious food, what happens, you can observe that the watery substance is produced in our mouth. That means the salivary glands, they secrete, they produce the saliva, in the mouth, just by thinking, by smelling, or by just seeing the food, children. Okay, and this is about the salivary glands. Yes, now after the partial digestion of food has been taken place in the mouth, now the food has been changed into a fine paste. Now what happens, the tongue helps in pushing the food backwards. Now the food is reached, okay, it passes to the next organ, that is the food pipe. Yes, it reaches to the next organ, that is the food pipe. Okay, now here you can observe, from the mouth the tongue helps in swallowing the food, and it makes the food, that is the 50% of the food is digested into a fine paste. It passes into the next organ, that is the food pipe. Food pipe, or it is also called as esophagus. Food pipe, it is the connecting link. It just connects the from mouth to the stomach. Yes, so now the food pipe, here you can observe, it is about 30 centimeters length, children, and it is the connecting tube between the mouth and the stomach, and it acts as a passage, okay, for the food to slide down. It acts as a passage to slide down. Yes, from the mouth the food is just slides down to the stomach. It just slides down to the stomach. So this acts as a connecting link. It acts like a connecting link between the mouth and the stomach. And here you can observe this stomach, it is a bag like structure. Okay, so now this pipe, it is also a muscular organ made up of muscles. Yes, now how the food is passed to the, how it is made to slide down to the stomach. As it is made up of muscles, the food pipe is made up of muscles. Here you can observe the contraction and relaxation, contraction and relaxation, contraction and relaxation of the food pipe takes place. Now the food is, as it enters into the food pipe, the contraction takes place and again it relaxes. The muscles contracts, relax, contracts, relax. So this, as it takes place, what happens, the food passes to the stomach, and it goes on slightly, it is pushed into the slides down to the stomach, children. Okay, the contraction and relaxation of the muscles present in the food pipe helps in pushing the food down into the stomach. Okay, so after learning about the food pipe, now we'll move on to the next organ, that is the stomach. Yes, stomach. Here in this picture you can observe that the stomach, it is a bag like structure. It is a bag like structure and it resembles the alphabet J. We write the alphabet J. Okay, it resembles the alphabet J. Yes, and here you can observe. Okay, now here the food which is passed from the mouth, it is pushed towards to the stomach, children. In the stomach, what happens? Here the food is again the digestion of the food takes place in the stomach. As the food reaches the stomach, the food stays in the stomach for about 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours. As the food reaches the stomach, you can observe the walls of the stomach. Okay, in the walls of the stomach, glands are present. What are these glands? These are the gastric glands. Gastric glands are present. Similarly, in the mouth, we can observe the salivary glands. Here also we can observe the glands are present in the stomach. Along with this gastric glands, we can observe the HCl is also present. Hydrochloric acid is also present, which helps in killing the germs. If any germs are present in the food, children, it is killed by this hydrochloric acid. Okay. So now these gastric glands, they produce, as the food reaches the stomach, these gastric glands, what happens? They produce the gastric juice. This gastric juice is mixed up with the food. It just gets mixed up with the juice, that is the gastric juice. And this gastric juice helps in the digestion of the food. It just mixes, that is the food is churned. Here the churning of the food takes place. The food is churning of the food takes place, okay, into a fine paste. It is again as the gastric juice mixes with the food, the churning of the food takes place, and here you can observe the digestion of the food takes place, and it is now into a fine, again into a similar molecules. Now after 2 or 3 hours, as the food is totally churned, now what happens? Now it reaches into the next organ. It reaches into the next organ. Here you can observe the food, it stays here for 2 to 3 hours. Now slowly it moves to the next organ, that is the small intestine. Yes. Yes. Now as the food reaches to the next organ, that is the small intestine, here you can observe as the food is moving here, you can here observe the liver. Okay, liver is the largest gland present in the human body, and there is one more gland, that is leaf-like structure, that is the pancreas. So the two glands are present here. Okay, so these glands, these are the associated glands. As the food is passed here, they get stimulated, they become active. So the liver is you keep in your mind, children, the liver is the largest gland present in our body. This liver, okay, it produces bile juice. It produces the bile juice. This bile juice helps in the digestion of the food. Children. Okay. So now this liver, as it is the largest gland, it is dark brown in color. It is dark brown in color, and it weighs about 1.5 kilogram. 1.5 kilogram. Okay. Now it secretes, this liver, it secretes a brownish green fluid. A brownish green fluid. It is green in color. Brownish green, and this is called as bile juice. Okay. And here this bile juice, it is released and it gets mixed up in the small intestine. Okay. And the next gland is the pancreas. Pancreas are the glands that are present below the stomach, and these are leaf-like structures. And the leaf-shaped structure. As the food is passed to the small intestine, the pancreas also gets activated, and they stimulate the juice. The juice is produced, and that juice is called as pancreatic juice. Okay. Now this pancreatic juice also helps in the digestion of food. The bile juice, the pancreatic juice, these they contain enzymes. These enzymes play an important role in breaking down of the food into simpler material. Okay, so they help in the digestion of food. What are those enzymes that you will be learning in higher classes? So you have to remember that the bile juice, which is produced by the liver, okay, this contains the enzymes. The pancreas, they secrete the pancreatic juice, and these juice contains enzymes. These enzymes, they help in the digestion of food. Now the food, as we know that the food enters the small intestine. As the food enters into the small intestine, okay, here we will just learn about the small intestine. What is small intestine? It is the longest part of the digestive system. Okay, when compared to all the different organs present in the digestive system, the longest part in the digestive system is the small intestine. It is highly coiled tube. Okay, yes, here you can observe it is just highly coiled like this. Okay, highly coiled tube-like structure. And here you can observe it is 7 meters in length. 7 meters in length and 3 centimeter in diameter. Diameter means, okay, now it is the diameter, you know the diameter, as it is very long tube like structure, the diameter, okay, it is very small. As the diameter is only 3 centimeters, we call it as small intestine, and in lengthwise it is 7 meters in length. Now, okay, now the food has reached to the small intestine. Now as the food is reached into the small intestine, we know that these two juices, the bile juice and pancreatic juice, also gets mixed up. Okay, so in the small intestine, along with these juices, we can observe that the small intestine, the walls of the small intestine, okay, they produce intestinal juice, children. They produce intestinal juice. So this is also one of the digestive juice. It also produces the enzymes. So this intestinal juice, it gets mixed up with the food. So now the food, the food that should be okay, the food that is the food which should be digested, this food, it is mixed up with the which juice? Bile juice, pancreatic juice. Next we have intestinal juice. So I think everyone are understanding. So in the small intestine, all the three juices gets mixed up with the food, and what happens? As the food is mixed up with all these juices, the enzymes present in these juices helps to break down the food. It helps to break down the food into simpler molecules of food. Okay. So here we can observe that in the small intestine, complete digestion of food takes place. Complete digestion of food takes place. Yes, the complete digestion of food takes place in the small intestine. That is the final digestion. You will get the final product. Just I'll tell only one product because you will be learning in higher classes. Don't be confused, children. The final product of the food is formed in the small intestine. The complete digestion of food takes place. That is, the glucose is formed. Glucose is formed in the small intestine. That means, now for example, when a person is met with an accident, okay, now what happens? We immediately take him to the doctor. When the patient needs the energy, what he does, he just takes the glucose bottle and he just injects into his body. So here glucose is being injected there. Why? To get the instant energy. This glucose is easily absorbed by our cells. So keep in your mind why the glucose is injected to the body of a patient. Why? Because this glucose is easily absorbed by our cells, and when it is absorbed by the cell, the energy is produced, and which helps to maintain his body. He needs energy. So the glucose is injected to him. So that glucose is produced in the small intestine. That is, the food is completely digested and we get the final products in the small intestine, children. Okay, and these are absorbed by our cells in the small intestine. In the small intestine, we can observe the finger-like projections. These finger-like projections are called as villi. What are these called? Villi. These villi are nothing but these villi, they help in absorption of the food. That is the digested food. Now it is a digested food, and this villi help in absorbing the food. Okay, so now the food which is not digested, it enters into the next organ, that is the large intestine. Here you can observe the end of the food which is not digested. It enters into the next organ, that is the large intestine. Okay, so the next organ is the large intestine. Here, in the large intestine, we can observe the undigested food. That means the food which is not digested is passed into the large intestine. So now the lower end of the small intestine extends into the lower end. It will be, the diameter is this much, but the lower end of the small intestine extends into a wide tube-like structure. And that is called as large intestine. And this large intestine, it is usually 1.5 meter long. It is 1.5 meter long and 7 centimeters in diameter. So in diameter, you can observe here, it is 7 centimeter in diameter. Okay. Now, unlike the small intestine, the small intestine is tube-like, coiled, okay, and it is long, and here it is shorter and wider. The large intestine is short and it is wide. Okay, the large intestine. What is the function of large intestine? The undigested food which is not digested is passed on to the large intestine. Okay, so here if any minerals are present, if the water substance is present in this undigested food, then what happens? This large intestine helps in the it absorbs the water and any minerals if it is present in the undigested food. So it absorbs the water and minerals. Now after the absorption, the food it is passed on. So it passes in this manner. It passes to the next organ, that is the rectum. Yes, so in the rectum we can see that the rectum, it stores the undigested food. It stores the undigested food. This undigested food, it is not needed to our body. It should be thrown out of our body, children. Okay, it is now it should be thrown out of the body. So it stores, and after it stores, what happens? Now this undigested food, it is a semi-solid waste. It is a semi-solid waste product, and it should be eliminated. That is, it should be thrown out of our body, and it is eliminated through a small opening that is called anus. What is this? The last organ that is present in the digestive system is the anus. Yes, here one thing I have to say, that here you have learnt in 5th standard the roughage. That is roughage which helps in throwing the undigested food. Roughage does not, it is not digested in the body, but it helps in throwing out the semi-solid waste which is present, okay, from our body. So the roughage is very helpful here in throwing out the semi-solid food into from our body. Okay, children. So this is about the digestive system in man. Okay, the food is digested and it is easily absorbed by the small intestine. So you just remember, the complete digestion of food takes place in the small intestine and it is absorbed by our cells. Okay. So now here, if you think this is a cell, the digested food is absorbed by the cell. Okay, this is one part has taken place now. Now we'll move on to the next part, that is the next system, that is the respiratory system, in the next class. Okay, children, thank you.